Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. A couple days ago now, I hosted a live handstand workshop in collaboration with Tala and took over their Instagram page to take everybody on the live through a whole handstand session. So we covered loads and loads of different things and I got such amazing feedback, and it was so great to hear that so many people found it useful, but some of you guys were worried that you might kind of forget what some of those drills were and wondering whether I could put them up for you. So I thought, what a better way to kind of use my YouTube channel than to break down each of the things we did during the workshop and put them into separate YouTube videos so you can work on them. Today's video is all about stretching and strengthening our wrists for our handstand work. Super important to stretch and strengthen your wrists before you do any kind of handstand training, and there's something that you should do for as long as you practice your handstands for. Whether you are a beginner or whether you're in the middle of your handstand journey or whether you've been doing handstands for ages, these are drills and stretches that hopefully will benefit you and are going to kind of help with that, you know, strengthening in our wrists. I would suggest stretching and strengthening your wrist before every single handstand training session that you do, because especially if you're a beginner, you will get achy wrists quite quickly, and you know, even those of us that have been doing handstands for a long time, you will know that our wrists get pretty sore once we've been on our hands for a long while. So making sure that our wrists are strong enough to handle those long periods of training our handstands is super important. You also have to remember that we walk around on our feet all day, all the time, for years and years and years, and then for us to just say, I actually want to go this way up, and put all of that pressure on our tiny little wrist joints, it's a lot to handle if we've not prepared them properly. So I hope you find these drills useful, and if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. So the first thing we're going to do is stretch our wrists. So we're going to take our hands nice and flat like this and place them on the floor in front of us. We're going to make sure that our shoulders are in line with our wrists, and we're just going to do some gentle rocks forward. So we're going to do about 10 rocks. So as you're rocking, you may notice like your palms are coming off the floor, and that's fine, because what we're aiming is to take our shoulders further in front. So trying to almost get our shoulders to our fingers, when usually in a handstand we would always kind of keep them in line. So we're going to do 10 more. Take your shoulders over the top. So we're exploring that kind of range of movement and also stretching out our wrists. The second thing we're going to do is take our wrists from being this way, and we're going to flip them underneath like this. So you're going to be very gentle here, because we're on the backs of our hands. And this time we start with our shoulders in line, but we go and we rock backwards. We're more focusing on kind of the backwards rocks, putting just a small amount of pressure onto our wrists at this point. Then what we're going to do, take our hands back this way and pop them side to side, and just like we've done with the other two, just some nice rocks. Take it nice and slow over to each side. Just applying a little bit of pressure into each wrist each time. Okay, next one, taking in like we just did, and inside. Rocking side to side, very gently, remember, on the back of our hands. And our last one, we're taking whoop in reverse. Flip them round, palms facing, fingers facing you, sorry. Last set of rocks. So you can rock backwards and forward, you can rock round in a circle if you want to. Following on from our rocks, we're going to do some finger stretches. So we're going to take our hands, place them flat on the mat, and all you're going to do is you're going to take one hand and you're just going to pull each finger back. So I'm going to start with my thumb, pull it back, hold for about 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, and put it on the floor. And I'm going to do that with every single one of my fingers. So we have our fingers all stretched out, our wrists all warm up, so now let's focus on some strengthening exercises. So the first exercise we're going to do to strengthen our wrists is some active flexion and extension. Now this is pretty challenging for me because my mobility in my wrist isn't great, so it's really important that I do this, and it's really essential for you to have good active flexion and extension in your wrist before you do any handstand work. You're going to sit cross-legged, facing this way so you guys can see, and you're going to start with your arms just straight out in front of you. Now all you're going to do first is pull your fingers up towards the ceiling with spread out fingers. We're keeping our fingers like this, hands out in front, and pull those fingers to the ceiling. Really try and get them vertical. And we're going to keep our arms locked out, spread the fingers and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo, that fires up my forearms like that so much. We're going to take them back to that starting position, but this time we're going to point our fingers down and hold for 10 seconds. So that's our first strengthening exercise, and you should really feel the fire in your forearms, especially when pulling your fingers up to the ceiling. Next strengthening exercise that I really like to do is just going from flat hands onto our fingertips. Okay, so we're starting in that kind of position that we started in earlier, with on our knees, shoulders in line with your wrists. So your shoulders should be stacked on top. Now from this position, what you're going to do is actually push up onto your fingertips. Now to do that, you really want to push your fingers into the floor. So all of this movement should be coming solely from your fingers. Your fingers should almost turn white. Okay, so I do 10 reps of these, but obviously do what feels comfortable to you. I also do 2 hands together. Now as a beginner, that might be too intense for you, and you might want to go 1 hand at a time, and that is completely fine. Okay, so we're going to do 5 together for the purpose of the video. So we're going to stack our shoulders onto our wrists, lock out our arms, and push our fingers into the floor. Push, using all of our fingers, thumbs as well. 3, 4, 5. So all of that movement coming from our fingers, you should really feel them start to fire up. Exercise 3 that I like to do to strengthen my wrists, we need to be quite careful of, because we're going onto the backs of our hands again. So we're starting on the backs of our hands, and then what we're doing is going up into a fist, tucking our thumbs in. Okay, so if you're a beginner, you might want to start completely on your knees. So you might want to start completely sitting on your knees like this. As you progress, you might want to go into that tabletop position. And if you're a pro, which I'm not, you might even want to start kind of in a high plank. That also goes for the finger push-ups as well. So I'm going to do mine kind of intermediate level. So I'm going to get into that tabletop position with my hands in reverse. And all I'm going to do is, using my hands, is push up onto my knuckles. Now I have to go 1 hand at a time because this is quite intense for me. So I push 1, 2, back down. Okay, and that counts as 1. Now I'll do about 10 of these, and I may do it like 2 to 3 times at the beginning of my session. We're going to do a couple more for the purpose of the video. So, push into the knuckles, back down. Push into the knuckles, back down. So you need to be really careful on that exercise, and that's why I emphasise, if you've never done it before, start here. get the movement right, because it's still quite intense here. It's still going to do what it has to do, and then as your wrists get stronger, you can progress onto the tabletop and into the high plank. Don't rush it. I'm not rushing it. It's very important that we don't rush it. Exercise 4, we can just do fist holds in a high plank. Okay, so not only are we kind of using our core here, but also strengthening our wrists. So it's really important that when you're in your high plank, same as it would be if you weren't on your knuckles, is that your shoulders, your chest and your hips are all in line. Like so. Okay, tuck your thumbs in and hold. I'd say anything no shorter than 10 seconds, working all the way up to a minute. Final wrist strengthening exercise is a controlled articular rotation. It's a bit scary, but it's not. And they are really great exercise to increase wrist strength and wrist mobility. So sit on our knees and we're going to take our elbow and put it really tight into our body. Okay, palms facing the ceiling. Now what we're going to do is our aim is to keep our forearm in this position. So you may need to kind of hold it because we don't want any supination. And what we want to do is take our wrist through its whole range of movements. We're taking it through flexion and extension, taking it to our pinky side, all the way down, really building that tension, all the way down to the floor, and all the way to our thumb side. Now these are pretty difficult for me, which is if I'm making any strange faces, that's why. Because I'm trying to concentrate on not letting that forearm move, but using those forearm muscles to pull the wrist into flexion and extension. So we're going to do some on the other side. So elbow nice and tight into your body like this. You can hold the wrist, but hold your forearm just to make sure that there's no supination. Clench it up, keep it nice and tight, taking it over to the pinky side. Keep that forearm flat. Down through the bottom and up, back the other way, and back up. Those are my favourite drills. Hope you found those stretches and strengthening exercises for your wrists useful. Remember to do them before every single handstand session that you do, or anytime you're applying any kind of pressure to your wrists. And remember that you can come back to those kind of wrist stretches at any time during your session if your hands and wrists are starting to feel a little bit sore and tender. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.